Alright, so here's a quick introduction into contract performance. And the idea here is as you meet with your different payers, you want to be able to answer some basic questions to make sure that you're guiding your discussions in the right direction. So for instance, is this contract paying less per encounter? Is this contract paying me correctly? Which contract should I keep? And more. Before we jump into any charts, just to give you an idea of some different key performance indicators, and what key performance indicators are specific metrics that are going to impact your bottom line. So depending on your organization, you might have different KPIs. The idea first is to identify the ones you really care about and then work towards improving them. So here are some that we will review later on with charts and specific takeaways from each one. So you having unique encounters by payer. So are you seeing more of their patients over time? Unique patients, so how many of their patients are actually coming into the facility. And this is again broken out by quarter. Medicare allowable by encounter, so based off of the care being rendered and as the rates get updated year to year, what's really occurring to that Medicare allowable rate by encounter. Payment by patient, so this is actually one that payers are going to track. How much are they paying you by patient as they show up to your facilities? If this number is really getting high, that actually might hurt your relationship with that payer. So what you want to do is just get ahead of any of those issues. So you almost want to self-audit. You have payment by encounter. So this is going to show, again, based off of Medicare allowable rates and your revenue cycle and your contracted rate, what's happening to your payment by encounter. So as you track that over time, you want to improve that. Your reimbursement rate, so this should, again, be close to your contracted rate. The difference there is issues that you have with your revenue cycle and or the payers having issues on their side. Time to median payment, this is basically tracking how fast you collect your cash. Total payment, this is tracking the size of that contract, and care rendered, similarly the size of that contract. So these are just a sample of KPIs. We'll jump into some of them now. The idea is you want to, again, really think about what do you care about as an organization, and once you decide on what those are, set up those KPIs and track them and really push for improvement on them. So to answer the question, is this contract paying less per encounter? What this chart is showing is quarter year over year, what's been the change to payment by encounter. This would just be a really quick view to show your payers, hey, payments have decreased by encounter, or have, in this case it's decreased, but maybe they've increased. Remember that your cost structure as a business is going to increase due to inflation in the long run, and that we expect that to happen anywhere between 1 to 2% a year. So having flat payment rates by encounter is going to put you in a difficult spot unless you're improving your operational efficiency. So this just gives you a visual so that when you talk to insurances and payers, you can slowly work towards increasing your rate. All right, in this chart we're looking at, is this contract paying me correctly? So you have your expected rate, what's your contracted rate, and then you could compare where are you actually being paid. There's really two primary causes as for underpayment. You have denials due to your revenue cycle, so things, issues and errors, operational challenges on your side. And then you also have errors by the payer. What you want to do is meet with your payers and understand where are these errors coming from and eliminating them as you can. You want to also ideally focus on your largest payers here. Fixing the problems with a small payer won't be as valuable as fixing issues with your large payers. Which contract should I keep? So we have here in this chart, on the vertical axis, we have the Medicare allowable for that contract. On the horizontal axis, we have basically the size of the contract. So this dot here is the contract that's paying the highest rate, and this contract here, for instance, is the largest contract, just to give you an idea of what it's showing. In the short run, what you want to do is really work to have no contracts that are below your variable cost. So once you do a cost structure analysis, you'll come to understand this is the level of cost I have per contract. You want to try to make sure that all your contracts are above this rate. If they're below this rate, that means you're losing money on that contract. And if you were to get rid of them, you'd be better off. So short run, you want to make sure you get all of these over that rate. And then long run, what you want to do is, again, through a cost analysis, understand what's our net income target, and then what's the rate that we need to reach that. And you want to move all your contracts up and above that. The real end goal here is to move your best contracts up in rate and then across. So you want to grow your best contracts. That's the general idea. So to think about how fast are we getting paid. So what this view is showing, and again, if you're meeting with a payer, You want to show them this to give them an idea of how everything's working. But what you want to do is try to decrease your time to payment. So if you provide a service and you're paying your physicians and you're paying your rent and you're paying all your expenses, but you're not getting paid for some time, that's increasing your financial risk. And you want to try to decrease that. You want to try to accelerate at the pace at which you get paid. So ways to do that. So you could, again, review this performance with the contract, and then you want to think about ways to improve that. So you can submit your claims faster, you could speed up your denial management, or you could just decrease your denials due to operational efficiencies. There's a lot of other things you can do, but the idea, again, is thinking through what are the views that we want to share with payers. Here we're looking at patient volume, essentially. So what are the encounters per day for the specific payer? In this case, we've seen an increase. If this is a great contract, you want to make sure that you increase your relationship with them. And by great, I mean they pay on time, they pay well, and they're just good for your business in the long run. So you want to increase slots for payers. You want to improve your layouts of your facilities to increase the amount of patients you can see per day. Improve your care workflow so that you can see patients quicker and get them through your facility quicker. And then increase your physician extender roles. And the idea here is you want to build a team around your physicians so that you can see more and more people throughout the day. So to answer the question, do patients require more care? And this gets to the idea of self-auditing. Payers will audit you. Ideally, what you want to do is make sure that you audit yourself and get ahead of any issues a payer might find so that you can keep those relationships strong and healthy. Also, if payers know that you're self-auditing and they come to trust you, if there ever is an issue, your relationship is just more solid because they trust you more. So what this chart's showing here is that over time, for whatever reason, the care rendered by patient in Q3 and Q4 has gone up year over year. So why has this happened? You're going to want to understand the reasons for these things, and if there's ever a large increase, just be aware of the fact that you want to self-audit and review these issues with your payers ahead of time. So that's just a quick introduction into what you can do for contract analytics and contract performance. If you want to take full advantage of your data that you already have available to you, feel free to reach out and we can try to help with that.